Picture New York City in the 1970s. The air is thick with change. Old neighborhoods are crumbling, and the streets are a battleground between fading traditions and the pressures of a modern world. It's a city on the edge, a place of shifting power. And in this chaotic atmosphere, one of the city's most notorious crime families, the Bonannos, saw a golden opportunity. They began to quietly expand their influence, not through loud, flashy power grabs, but by weaving a sophisticated drug operation into the very fabric of everyday life. Instead of making obvious moves that would attract attention, the Bonanno family operated with a masterful subtlety. They infiltrated the city from the inside out, slipping into corner shops, small, unassuming restaurants, local repair businesses, and neighborhood social clubs. From the outside, these places looked completely ordinary, just part of the city's rhythm. But behind the scenes, they served as silent hubs for planning, distribution, and control. The era's economic struggles made many of these businesses easy targets. Shop owners, facing financial ruin, often cooperated out of fear or sheer desperation, allowing the Bonannos to build a sprawling, invisible network that spread across the boroughs without drawing any early heat. Their methods were deceptively simple. Drug deliveries were disguised as routine shipments of bread, produce, or auto parts. Critical conversations were hidden behind the closed doors of backroom offices. Local couriers, who looked like any other New Yorker heading to work, blended seamlessly into the city's constant flow of people. They knew the streets, they knew the rhythms of the neighborhoods, and they knew which areas to avoid. As the demand for their product grew, the family relied on trusted associates, familiar faces in the community who wouldn't arouse suspicion. These weren't outsiders. They were the people you saw every day, the ones who knew everyone's business. This influence wasn't just about the money, though. It was about power. The Bonannos began to shape entire neighborhoods, deciding who could operate a business and where. They created an unspoken order, a set of rules that many people followed without ever daring to question them. For a time, it seemed like they had built a foolproof system, a silent empire hidden in plain sight. But nothing lasts forever. As the decade wore on, the first signs of trouble began to appear. Law enforcement started noticing a sudden rise in unusual financial activity, a strange pattern of unexplained connections between seemingly random small businesses. Whispers from worried locals, tired of living under the shadow of organized crime, began to reach the ears of investigators. Slowly but surely, detectives started mapping the patterns. They traced how certain shops and social clubs were linked by the same late-night visitors, the same suppliers, and the same quiet, intense meetings. What was once a series of invisible threads was starting to form a very visible web. The pressure began to build around family members who had operated with unchecked confidence for years. Surveillance grew tighter. Informants, tired of the life or looking for a deal, began to emerge from the woodwork. The organization's once secure operations started to show cracks as law enforcement painstakingly pieced together the full extent of their network. By the end of the decade, the quiet infiltration was met with a loud response. Coordinated raids, sweeping financial investigations, and devastating internal betrayals began to hammer the structure the Bonannos had spent years building. The empire that had been built on secrecy and fear started to crumble under the combined force of federal pressure and, crucially, community cooperation. The story of the Bonanno family in the 70s became a turning point in how New York confronted organized crime. It was a stark reminder that even the most deeply rooted, cleverly hidden operations will eventually collide with their consequences. Thanks for watching. If you found this slice of history interesting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. See you in the next one.